The fuck, dude? Intruce'd just rage quit. Yeah, he doesn't.
So you want to do E11 and like what jump pack?
Yeah, jump back only. No trade, there you go.
All right. Oh, they want me to scrim.
Scrim. What's up?
Yeah, Legolas just sent me an invite. Sure.
Fast dude. Yellow person is. I'm pretty.
I know what yours is. You like to roll around the corner and surprise me.
Yeah, not bad. That's like not even proper hunting.
Your orders are to shoot down every last one of those rebels.
My life is so much easier when you had no friends. Remember, I don't purge. Yeah, is there a positive for Q? You have a queue of friends waiting for you. You have to clear them out to let them in. Actually, Americans are the most loneliest people in the world. Yeah.
Dang it, your
Like,
health's back up.
there's a poll, and they asked everybody in the world, and Americans said they were the loneliest. Like, the majority of Americans say that they're lonely. Like, 21% of people under the age of 30, I think, say that they have 0 friends. Like, we isolate ourselves. We also have the high suicide rate, too. Yeah, it's not surprising. I mean, the happiest. Where did you hear this from? Because it's actually, how long ago was this? Because it's like for the past 5 or 6 years. It's been. Oh, okay. Yeah, since the Great Recession, Denmark has been. Denmark and Finland have been the happiest. Yeah, I mean all the Scandinavian countries.
Oh,
pretty
hold on,
much
2 health.
rank the top of the list. Yeah, yep. Yeah, that's what the United States had a choice to do this election, but they're fucking it up and voting for the same status quo. That's gonna fuck itself over. Finland has the best education in the world. Like, they teach their elderly people actually how to spot fake news and how to spot scams online. And they are the least. I mean, just through any other like education program. You know what I mean? Like, in most civilized societies, they have. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like ours is not supposed to be that way. Ours is supposed to be like fall in line and like teach you the basics and the actual things that you're supposed to know. You just like are thrown in. Yeah. Like they don't even teach you like what you're actually supposed to know in society anymore. So like, you know what I mean? It's like you do. Yeah, exactly. And it's all because of Bill Gates.
Oh, so close.
Yeah, he's the one. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, like, Bill Gates had, he had the, social structure to be able to do what he did. Like, he had a workforce, and he had, internet that was provided to him by the government. Like, his school had computers that was provided to him by the government. Like, his school was just wealthy enough to have those things. And then now he's trying to cut the ladder for everybody else to be able to make it into the status that he made it into, just like all billionaires are doing right now. But, I figured I was going to say, like, about... Oh yeah, his education program has been a massive failure. He bought off our education department and then implemented his, like, Core 40 thing. I don't know if you guys know about that at all. Like, okay, well, it's supposed to be like since George W. Bush came into office. He did the whole thing where it's like the funding and like teachers being able to keep their jobs and stuff like are based off of school performance, but then they are they're denied the basic resources that they need to actually flourish because it's all based off property taxes. And when you are like decimating these cities, when you're decimating these cities, their property taxes or their property taxes go down because their value goes down because people are leaving left and right. So then those communities aren't getting the proper education because then they suck away their funding, and then they close them down and allocate the resources to charter schools. So, like, Bill Gates spent all this money because he said, like, his verbatim, he said that he thinks he is more intelligent about how education should work than the experts, like the actual education department and stuff. So then now he just part us in, yeah, and like even the best, no, I don't think it's accurate. Even the best studies that like lean towards his favor, even those say that he at least, or he at most did nothing different. Like nobody improved under him. So that's the best case scenario. And worst case is that obviously a whole generation of people are going to be completely undereducated because he did an experiment and he's just like, all right, oops, sorry, and then he just gave it back to them.
I'm camping.
No, it hasn't, and he even admitted it hasn't. He said, I'm sorry that I spent all this money, here you guys go, and he just gave it back. Like, yeah, that's exactly what philanthropy is, though. Yeah. That is not, like, right, exactly. For the average citizen, being, like, to rely on billionaires and stuff is nice, because at least you believe that they're generous, when in reality they're not. Like, they're generous to things that only they like. So if I don't like you as a person, or if I don't believe in what you want, then I won't. Yeah, exactly. Like, you're not going to get shit. But people who agree with me, mold society how they want. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Which, I mean, I don't think that these people are necessarily bad people. There are disgusting billionaires, like a lot of the bankers and stuff are disgusting, but like this, like I said last night, like this is kind of the trajectory that you would expect for people who are in power. Like once they get that power, the natural course is to gain more power. But like these people are doing it exponentially, and that's what the issue is. Oh yeah. Yeah. Like there are good, like Tom Steyer, I would say that he is a progressive billionaire, but he still kind of has that like businessman mentality. But at least he can see the issues. Jeff Bezos used to be a progressive person, but then once he like established his empire, like he started eating everybody else alive, and like I said, like he's in his own little bubble. He doesn't understand the reality of stuff that's going on. He could like have a sense of understanding of it, but he could never actually experience it once he's out of that, like once he's in his own bubble.
We are almost out of time.
Yep. So while he thinks that, while he like might perceive that he's doing good, in reality he's not. But he just doesn't know because nobody around him will like open up his eyes because they're all in the same position. Yep. Right. While everybody else that like. Yeah, exactly. Because he's like moving so fast and not doing like what Finland does. Like he's not. That's why. Yeah. Well, I mean, kind of. Like. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh shoot! I thought we were gonna shoot somewhere.
Yeah, you can, like, do, like, moving from the horse and buggy to a car, and moving from, from a dialer phone to a rotary phone to a cell phone. Like, you can do those things, or a VHS to a DVD. But you have to, like, progress to it and then bring everybody else with you, and that's what they're all not doing. They're all advancing technology so much, it's like hyper advancing. Yeah.
You know what these guys are talking about?
Yeah, like industrialization, basically. Yeah, there's an area around here, actually, Anderson, Indiana. It used to be the home of the GM plant, and when Bill Clinton signed away on NAFTA and the TPP, our trade deals, he signed away, like he started the industrialization of America, and that's why the entire Midwest is turning Republican, or has turned Republican, is because the Democratic Party completely abandoned these people, and their excuse was to start learning how to code. Like that's what the Democratic Party, yeah. So like that's why people voted for Trump. It's because Anderson, Indiana, GM plant. Once they left, there was the entire town was decimated. Like it's all just like leveled from like how destructive it was. Like it's rid of the unhappiest place. The second unhappiest. The first unhappiest is Gary, Indiana, which is also an industrialized area that's been industrialized. Right, but they could stay there. It's not like cars are a thing of the past. It's the only thing that caused GM to move was the trade deals that opened up our corporations to start moving their production overseas while maintaining their status and tax breaks for the U.S. So they got both benefits and then screwed everybody else behind because they could just leave all these people in the dust and move their production over in Mexico and pay people $3 an hour to do the same work that they were paying these people $22 an hour for. Profits over people. Yep, that's basically capitalism. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yep.
Where'd you go?
Yeah, so like once the Great Recession happened and the economies crashed, that's when Denmark started doing those things. Like that's when Scandinavia turned towards social democracy. And they're like even Thomas Jefferson, I think I've told you this before, that Thomas Jefferson believed in welfare. Like he said that was the only way to have a society that doesn't vote to take away the property of the rich, was to keep wealth inequality down. So he said to institute welfare, and that would keep people.
Dude, I almost had you. Like, you jumped off the edge. You should have died.
The cycle of class mobility alive, and democracy, wealth and equality. Yeah, if you keep wealth inequality down, like the inequality of wealth, where it's like the top 1/10 of 1%. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Which is essentially like what black people have an issue right now, is because like the New Deal, which saved white America from the Great Depression, didn't really save them. But then again, like they have had it not saved like for the longest time in America. But while like these, you can be progressive, these people did have slaves, and that is an issue. And the next step would be to do something for every community, because every community, like universal programs are better than targeted programs, because then it makes people, it's like our healthcare system. They didn't want to make it universal, so they went with a half measure that gives private industries control over it still. So what happened was that 30 million people got health insurance under Obamacare,
Dude,
but then a bunch of people like were pretty much priced out of their health insurance because their rates had to go up to pay for the people that were poor. But in reality, it should have been the rich got their taxes raised and everybody else got health care. But instead, it was the rich didn't want to do that. They wanted to put it all in the middle class.
Paratroopers have no idea what they're in for.
But they own our Congress right now, so that's the issue. Is that well, the Great Depression happened because the rich got too rich and they started getting reckless with the economy, and then it fell from the bottom up. And ever since then, like when FDR came into office, he was pressured by the labor movement to enact the New Deal, which gave like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, workers' rights, like the ability to unionize and whatnot. Like, well, that happened, but then the business class like struck back full force, and they started discrediting all the labor movement as being communist and socialist, and got the Supreme Court to say that that corporations were people, and that money is free speech. So then they started, if you had wealth and status, you started pouring all of your money into Congress. And then when you buy off all these politicians, then when they get into office, they have to do what you ask them because you're the one who donated to their campaign. And then they pay off the politicians to all do legislation that serves them, and then they rewrite the tax code to serve them. So then that's when you get the whole cycle of like sucking from the bottom and moving it to the top. And it's just been a perpetual cycle since then because they keep doing it over and over again, like it's like a tax cut. Like, right. Yeah, exactly. And trickle-down economics brought us the Great Depression. And these people are... So we had the Great Recession in 2008, which is like when capitalism crashed, like hardcore, but not as much as the Great Depression. So the next crash is going to be even worse than the Great Depression and the Great Recession.
Dude, that was lucky on my part. I didn't know you were going to jump pack.
The great capitalism has built into it every 4 to 7 years it crashes. Whether like how hard the crash is based off of how healthy the economy is. So when you have a healthy economy, it will go into a recession. But when you have a terrible economy, that's when you get a depression. And how long it takes for that depression to get out is the issue. But this really... No. I don't think so. I don't think it's a hoax.
Just people watching?
No. Like, it's, I don't know, it's just normal stuff, you know what I mean? Like, we have viruses all the time. It's just how well you're prepared for it. The United States is not prepared. So that's why we're panicking. And our culture ingrains into your head to, like, treat life like these crises and stuff, like, to prepare for things to, like, happen like The Walking Dead type stuff. Instead of preparing it, it's like, oh, I'm going to kill you for your toilet paper, you know what I mean? As opposed to like, oh, let's all share toilet paper because that's what like society does. But when you have people like before the coronavirus hit, the economy was on the brink of collapse, and you have people, 78% of our country living paycheck to paycheck. People are getting sicker and sicker, and they can't pay for their medical expenses because they're going bankrupt, and suicide rates are at an all-time high. We're the highest suicide rate in the whole world right now. And then you have this on top of it, people are going to start panicking like crazy. Well, lupus is an autoimmune disorder. Well, I would say that people should be paying attention to climate change. Like, that is the biggest thing right now. Like, I'm talking like within the next 10 years, like it's going to be like apocalyptic. Like, you can't even imagine this type, like, level of panic that people are going to be having. But, like, I wish that people would do that, but instead they're, like, blowing it off as not a big deal. And then there is the portion that are blowing it off as not a big deal of this. But the thing is, like, yeah, the flu does kill a lot of people a year. Way more people a year than this does.
Yeah, I think I'm dead.
But
You got the high ground.
But this is new, and we don't have the antibodies. We don't have any vaccinations for it. Our government wasn't prepared, so it has a higher death rate than the flu does. So it's like, yes, like the media is like, not. I don't think they're doing it like purposely. They're just doing what, you know what I mean? Like what the media does, like flashy headlines to get people's attention, and misinformation because this administration has fucking botched this shit. Like, and that's instilling a lot of fear in people because they keep walking back everything that they're saying. Like they'll say something and then they'll walk it back. It's like, oh, just kidding. This is actually a serious thing. Like, and then they walk it back again because half the administration is like Christian fundamentalists and they don't believe in any of this shit. And then half of it is just like ignorant stuff and they have no idea what they're talking about. So when you like have all of that mixed into it, then like that's gonna scare the public too, because then we're just like flailing because we started doing shit like as the ship was sinking as opposed. Right, but it all stops. Starts from the top though. The World Health Organization like told the Trump administration to take this seriously like 3 months ago, and they had test kits from Germany. The World Health Organization and all the other countries agreed that this test was the best, most reliable test. But the Trump administration didn't think that it would get to the United States, so they didn't want to buy in bulk because it was.
Yeah, yeah, I roll around a lot and that doesn't show up on the radar.
So instead, what they did.
Nobody's playing.
Here's my question then. Here's my
New Slope is playing in a game. cargo game. He's already sweaty.
The rebels have the cargo. Stop them.
Our cargo is back in Imperial hands.
cargo has been picked up. Protect it. Have the cargo. Deliver it to our base.
The enemy has returned their cargo box.
Well, I mean, being at the top? I mean, kind of. It depends.
You don't want to stock up on toilet paper?
Like, their lives are not that bad. But it's like the president. Like, the president is a grueling job. Like, you see how quickly our presidents age? It's because they actually are faces of the public. You know what I mean? So you have government is accountable, and people will backlash against government.
I find your lack of
The thing
faith
that
disturbing.
is like the biggest crisis of our lifetimes is that corporations have infiltrated our government, and now they're becoming the same thing. So a corporatocracy is what it's called, where your government is actually not a democracy or anymore. It's owned by corporations, and they are the ones who make policies. Elections don't exist. Like, they're all just a facade. So it's like a banana republic type thing. So like that's what we're on. We've been having that happen, and we are like on the cusp of that, like being full control. So either we're going to have like mass riots, where people are going to like be out on the streets, or we can do it by elections. And so far, that's proven not to be able to work, because no matter what you try to do, infiltrating it from a third party or infiltrating it from the inside, the establishment, the status quo, always somehow manages to use their wealth and power to manipulate something to be able to maintain that wealth and power. And they're not letting go of their wealth and power for even one like move anyway towards the opposite. They keep pushing it further and further towards full power. So that would mean that they're corporations and they're not accountable to anybody. Like corporations have more rights than humans do, according to the Supreme Court. So there's something that we would be able to do, like to keep them in check. Like they're not accountable to us. Like what the base of government is. It is, yeah, but like, no, there is a solution. There is a solution. The problem is that our generation has not, like, finally did what every single generation before us has done and fight to, you know what I mean? Like, we haven't had our like revolution yet. And it really doesn't take that many people. It takes like 1% of your population to actually put pressure on government to actually do something.
No Intruce, play scrims with us.
So that's how little like people are actually taking this seriously. Like they have all over the place, like not the Middle East, Latin America, like in France right now, like they're Canada, over the pipeline and stuff. Like they're having like their own like revolution. Like the working class is finally taking a step up and like taking on the powerful, and we're not. Like we just keep we're just stagnant right now. What? Well, it depends. Right. Like Trump. Right, but that's the thing. Like you can get up and like stand up though. You don't have to be violent about it. Like you can just being surrounding the Capitol, like a small percentage of people surrounding the Capitol building is enough to make them do what we ask them to do, because the government is us. Like we are the government. They're supposed to protect us. Like that's what their interest is, not 1% of the population. Like so so I'm not saying like get your guns out and like kill politicians and stuff like a lot of
Where'd Chewbacca go? We only need Intruce now. 7 of us.